All right. Hello, everyone, to kind of a special chat session here with D&D. I am Finn, your normally your dungeon master, but today just kind of having fun with the rest of the group here. And we have a little bit of a shortened group, so no campaign session necessarily today, but we are going to do some just general fun stuff. So, with that, let's go ahead and get everyone introduced, starting first off with Mr. Corinth, who is your. We'll ask you guys to introduce your normal characters. Obviously, today we're kind of chill, but your normal character, starting with Corinth.
I'm King Adeline Brydax, your Dwarven Eldritch Knight.
And then next up, we have Mr. Grimothy.
Yeah, I usually play drums all Turin the party's orc cleric. Usually.
And then last but not least, Miss Ouchie.
Hi, coming to you from Kegheim. And there's
Yeah.
helicopters flying around apparently. I don't know if you can hear that in the background.
Yeah, those dwarf locks
They-
when
They
when
came
you let
from
them go.
behind. They came from behind.
Mm-hmm.
We'll let the gnomes in here with the helicopters.
That would be pretty cool. Can we have
I'm picturing the
helicopters?
Warcraft gnomes now, or the Warcraft dwarves. They were always in the copters.
What if they're like, just like the personal helicopters you could fly around Kegheim? Okay, I usually play Elione, and I have to go help my kid real quick.
Not coming from Cake High, Kegheim. Oh my god, awful Kitty Yoda. Today, I am going to be commenting on chat, just FYI. Not Cakeheim. Ouchie's like, oh, I'm going to be right back, and there she is typing Cakeheim. Just
Ooh, Cakeheim. Yes, please.
yeah. Speaking of which, I am getting like coupons and stuff for my since Ouchie pointed out before the stream. It is officially the start of my birthday month, and so I'm getting all the emails. So prior to the stream start, we were talking about Denny's and how I got a thing for a free original Grand Slam. So that's the reason why, by the way, Grim. I got original Grand Slam thing just because it's my birthday month now. So they're sending me for the rewards
Okay.
and
I
stuff.
thought you were getting like the senior specials and stuff like
Well, yeah, I do that too. That I'm telling you. So okay, I'm going. Yeah. Now we're going on tangents today, so that's just what this is going to be. It's just going to be a fun chat session. If you guys have any questions about D&D or anything really, for the group, go ahead and just put it in the chat. And apparently we have some fun stuff to talk about too, because Corinth and Ouchie have done something. I don't know what they've done something, and they say that the best way to represent it is Finn Smiley, so that's also not good. But when I was still living at home with my parents, my dad and I would go to Denny's periodically, and so he would order things off the 55 plus menu for me so I could eat it. So my dad was getting me senior citizen discounts at Denny's. Those, and I will tell you, the value for the 55 plus menu at Denny's used to be like solid. Obviously things have changed recently with stuff, but yeah. So yes, Grim, I do order off the old people menu at Denny's if I can. I'm gonna look right now. I have not looked recently if they still have the senior citizen menu, because they've changed so much. Let me see. Do they have senior citizen menu? Yeah, they do. They still have the 55 plus menu. Huzzah! Okay, good to know. I will have to befriend some old people in order to get the 55 plus menu again. All right, so with that being said, yeah, I I'm sure none of that is surprising to anybody there, that I I eat and sleep like an old man for the most part. But it is my birthday month, so one of the discussions we were having is all the free stuff that you can. Oh my god! Hello, Nate. And one of the things we were discussing is how all of the like different things you get signed up for during your birthday month, when you add that in there, you get your rewards. Some of them happen closer to your birthday. Some begin right in your start of your birthday month, and they're just there for the entire thing. But you get so many like free desserts. I have like, let's see, I have free bagels. I have just like free money at the stores. Lots of free desserts. Like lots of free desserts. That tends to be the majority of the stuff. And then, yeah, free original Grand Slam, free popcorn at a movie, free drink. It's the Baja Blast at Taco Bell. Taco Bell gives you a free Baja Blast, which is also pretty good. So I wouldn't mind that. I get a coupon for my haircut. So they load up on all these things. So it's one of the few times where getting all those spam emails is not the worst thing. You get all the stuff for your birthday, which is nice. So, yeah. So today, basically, we're just going to be kind of chilling, and we'll talk a little bit about D&D. I know some people have not kept up with the campaign. So one of the things we want to do, if you guys are interested, is kind of do a summary of where we are in the campaign. Give you guys a general idea of how we got to where we are currently in the campaign. Going back.
How far?
Yeah. Going kind of starting at like episode 1, but not necessarily going in like super detail. We'll go high level details all the way, especially until we get like more closer, so you understand more specifically what's going on here. Because obviously, things that happened when we were level 1, unless it has to do with a certain dwarf and a building, likely does not have
A building?
Yeah.
Just a wall.
Well, I mean, it's the wall of a build. No, it was the whole building. I think we ended up realizing it was the whole building.
Blacksmith shop, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it started with a wall, but the wall was structural, and then it caused the building to collapse. Yeah, that is. What is D&D? Okay, so D&D is Dungeons and Dragons. No, it's Dungeons and Dragons. I know Kitty Yoda is joking, but as a general summary, it's a role-playing game. If you guys haven't played it, it's a lot of fun because you leave things up to chance with the dice, and it can lead to some great random experiences. I'll say that. So yeah, it's a role-playing game, and you want to make sure you're playing with a group of people that are, I'll say, like-minded. You don't necessarily have to be carefree. You don't necessarily have to be like a stickler for the rules. But whatever it is, you want to find a group that you're compatible with. Because it's very easy for one person to kind of make it not fun for others, potentially. I was trying to find a better word than not fun. But yeah, that's the word that came to mind. And it doesn't have to be people either. I've done games with like random people as well, and it's perfectly fine. Part of it is you really have to get into the mindset of role-playing, right? And you have to play your character. There's a concept called metagaming, which is something that's very difficult to do. It kind of happens in the game, right? But you want to try and minimize it. Metagaming is using the knowledge that you have as your player instead of using, the knowledge that you have with a character. So, simplest example is usually always a barbarian. Barbarians tend to have a very low intelligence. So, you may know 5 times 12 is 60. Your barbarian may try to count on his hand and lose track of the number of fingers and then give up, right? That's kind of an example, very simple example of a difference between you knowing something as a character or player and what your character may know. And
it's not my job to know and count. That's the rogue's job.
Exactly. So, if you're playing a barbarian,
I just smash heads.
I mean, that's pretty much it.
I can divide things.
You ask the barbarian, what is 5 times 12? Barbarian grabs the wizard and pokes at him like a calculator. Shut the hell up. 5 times 12 on the wizard. Like, So that's the difference between like metagaming and playing your character, where you may know something, but then obviously your character doesn't. So that's
Well,
the
that's
general
what the
rule of
wizard gets
Dungeon
for naming his character Axis Intimates. Texas Instruments.
I'm aware.
The calculator
I'm
makers.
aware.
Oh,
I got the
that
reference.
went right over my head.
Oh, it didn't. It made me facepalm.
I didn't follow that.
Oh yeah,
At
no,
all.
I got
I think
that.
Ouchie and I might have focused a bit on too much on intimates there. We're like, what is he saying?
Well, the N is silent.
That's exactly what it was, because I was like, is it some kind of Victoria's Secret thing, or what is he talking
Yep.
about?
Yep.
Oh my god. That would be awful. So so that is Dungeons and Dragons kind of in a quick nutshell. So it's a lot of fun when you find the right group. Finding the right group is usually the hardest part about it, because you need to find people that are willing to play in a similar mindset as you. People that don't follow the rules can be, annoying. People that are rule Nazis can also be annoying. So you want to find people with like a balance. You need to find a dungeon master that's willing to kind of help the group. And, of course, the player group and who you interact with is also helpful. So, yeah, that's kind of a general summary. Nate, to your question, I didn't sign up. I believe it's 3v3, so I want nothing to do with that. So,
Ew.
yeah.
Ew.
I'm just letting you know. I believe it's 3v3, and I don't want to deal with that. So,
Kitties. It's all right, Kitty Yoda.
yeah, you asked, and that's what happens. So, yes.
I don't know how you thought he wouldn't do that. That's more the appropriate
Right.
thing, I guess.
Mhm. Yeah, you should know better by now, Kitty Yoda. That's all I can say. Yeah. So, Corinth and Ouchie, I know you guys worked on something. You let me know when you want me to watch it. Do you want me to start off with it? Do you want me to wait until later? How do you want me to do it?
How many people we got watching the stream? 4. Where
Mhm.
is everyone? Where's DPK? I thought DPK was coming.
I have no clue. I'm assuming people are just resting since they thought today was off. Which it kind of is, but...
No, that's not allowed. I don't know. How long are you streaming for, Finn?
I'm thinking maybe like another hour or so, unless there's like more questions and stuff coming in. We'll talk a little bit about the campaign, but
Maybe
So
we
what do you
just
think?
talk about the campaign first and see if anyone else comes in.
all right, that works. So we can start with a quick summary, because there was some stuff from earlier sessions that if you didn't watch, what happened at the end of last session doesn't truly have the same impact. I'll put it that way. So in a general sense of D&D, when you start a new campaign, a lot of times it's very easy to get everyone started using pre-made modules. The modules are created by wizards and Dungeons and Dragons to help with kind of some initial interactions with the players, get their characters to kind of know each other and work on missions, and then ultimately, the storylines of the players' characters, whatever actions they took on those, all of those kind of merge together, and then the DM kind of takes over and then creates kind of a story arc, right? Based on the different characters and whatever else is kind of going on to create the story. So when we first started, we all had our characters, and it was a pre-made kind of campaign at the start, or not a campaign, a module. And we had gone, Corinth, you know what? This is your story. Before I start telling the story, do you want to introduce it a little bit? This is the story of Hadlin, after all.
Wow, I didn't officially realize this was the story of Hadlin.
Oh, this is the story of Hadlin. This whole campaign is
Did
the
it
story
start
of Hadlin.
out that way, though? It didn't start out that way.
It didn't,
Did
but
it?
it's turned into the story of Hadlin at this point.
Yeah, it started out the story of Balin. That was very much like the first 4 or 5 episodes
Mhm.
was centered around Balin's character and what was going around with him. So we can touch with Balin first if you want, Mr. DM.
No,
Sure.
no, no, no. Wait, we don't
Nice
let Balin
deflection.
touch anything.
Oh, how apropos! You shall see later.
Yep. You shall see
Uh,
soon.
well, okay. Let me start with an introduction of Balin then, because that's true. There was a lot going on with Balin when we first started. So Balin was, uh, in the context of the campaign of where we are. So, in the larger realm, right, the continent or the whole world is called Exandria. Exandria has 3 different continents. I believe the one is called Islara. Then you have Taldori, and then you have Wildemount. So the campaign takes
And Marquette.
in Marquette, and
Can't
so
forget that one.
yes, I can't forget that one. So the campaign takes place in Wildemount, and all the characters started off in a city called Zadash, which is kind of the capital of the Dwendalian Empire, which is one of the 2 kind of biggest factions. There's other smaller factions, but the 2 biggest factions, one of them is the Dwendalian Empire, and Zadash is effectively the capital. So the group meets up there. Balin, however, is not from Wildemount, unlike I think most of the other characters. Balin is actually from Islara. He actually grew up right outside of Vasselheim, which is in the current campaign where the group is right now. He grew up in a small area outside of Vasselheim, and then traveled from there to Zadash. And there is a history behind him that the group was not fully aware of, but it caused some mystery behind Balin. So to give context now that the group knows, Balin was the child of parents that were part of a cult of Vecna. And they had turned him into what effectively was going to be kind of a key to unlocking Vecna's power. And so they put him into some rituals and stuff like that, and ultimately kind of cursed him. So on his left hand, Balin always wore a glove. Later on, when the glove was...
It wasn't because he's a fan of Michael Jackson.
No, not at all.
Mm.
But after... Yeah. Let's not... Okay, you know what? I'm not even going to put that thought out there. Okay, no.
Balin, are
So-
you okay? You okay?
Yeah, no. No.
Are
Okay.
you okay, Balin?
Fine. Now I have to go there. Both Balin and Michael Jackson should not be touching anything with that glove. Okay. So next, so Balin had a glove, and later on
Not
it
for
was
the same reasons, though.
I know,
I
not
hope.
for the same reason. Not at all. Balin goes the opposite way. In one of the early campaigns, he ended up making out with
yeah.
with the decrepit old lady.
Oh,
That
the
was-
old lady.
Yeah, and touching a big giant purple.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. So
Dinosaur?
yeah, dinosaur, big purple dinosaur.
Mhm.
So Balin's left hand was covered with a glove. When the glove was removed, they found that he had kind of in his skin a symbol of an eye, which was the eye of Vecna, and it was causing his left hand to kind of be, it was blackened basically from the darkness of Vecna. And
Yeah,
in
think Evil Dead.
Yep. And in the early part of the campaign,
to his hand and went bad.
so he had controlled it for a long time up until now, right? Because he had this when he was a child, and he's now in his like 20s. And what's happened is at the beginning of the campaign, one of the major things was that it started to spread, and the darkness was kind of going up his arm, and it seemed like the whatever the curse of Vecna was spreading through his body, and it actually in some ways caused him to die at one point.
So he got this chainsaw.
So Balin actually when he came over to Wildemount, even before that, he had actually become a follower of the Raven Queen. And so he was not a follower of Vecna. His parents were, and he kind of got indoctrinated into it, but did not continue those beliefs and was a follower of Raven Queen, where he met at that time two people at the Zadash Temple of the Raven Queen that kind of became his family. One was Ashira, who was a Azamar paladin or warlock, and then
Warlock, yeah.
and then Drum's character, who was an orc cleric. And so if you hear Grim say that Balin was Drom's little brother, that's why, because he kind of grew up in the Zadash Temple, and they were basically told to look after him without much detail of what he was going through, because knowing that there was somebody that had thank you, by the way, Hachi. Knowing that there was somebody that had a curse of Vecna in their midst may not have been the easiest way for Balin to make friends. I'll put it that way. So that was originally like one of the starting things of the campaign. As everyone was kind of going through the individual modules, Balin had a struggle with his curse with Vecna, or curse of Vecna, I should say. And they had gone through ultimately some trials where the Raven Queen kind of sealed the power of Vecna, but in most recent viewing of Balin, the curse has spread, but Balin has control over it. So it's a little
and luckily, since a lot of the members of the Raven Queen are pretty edgy, Balin fit right in.
Mm-hmm. It's true. So I will say this:
there's lots of use of guy liner in the Raven Queen Temple.
So I will say this is one of those things where, as a player, so at the time I was a player in the campaign, and this is just my personal recommendation, right? There's a lot of different ways you can build characters, and there's obviously a little bit of min-maxing that you always want to do with your characters, because you don't want them to be weak. You want them to be, useful in some aspect, right? You want them to be
maxed to last
out
more than one session.
Exactly. Right? So whether it's combat, whether it's a skill, a particular stat that you're going to be dominant in, you want to min-max to some extent. However, for me, the role-playing part of the character was always super important. So the reason why this curse, right, and of course I talked to Ranger, who was a DM at that time, about this, and he was, good with the background. The reason why I wanted to do it is because I wanted to focus on my spells as Balin, who was a sorcerer, on 2 elements. And that was kind of it. There was a third minor element that I was doing. And even though I had a whole bunch of different spells at my disposal as a sorcerer, and some of them are probably more powerful than others, Balin focused on fire spells. And the fire spells if you go back and you listen, you'll always hear when I mention how it's being cast, the fire spells were always being cast from his right hand. That was the uncorrupted hand. That is Balin's kind of innate element that he dealt with as a sorcerer. His left hand always cast something that was either necrotic, shadow, or poison. So something that was kind of black in nature. And that was part of his cursed hand. So it helped me build the character in that I always looked for those 2 as the spell types. And the third minor one that I dealt with was kind of earth. I used to do a lot of mold earth and stuff like that. And there's also some story background as to why he would do that as well. But when you're creating characters, if you're only min-maxing, you'll kind of end up in the same route usually over and over again. So I definitely would recommend, if you're ever making a character, think about role-playing. You can min-max within a framework. It may not be the highest min-max, but when you min-max to some extent, it's actually really... and you do it with role-playing and as kind of a priority, I find the character more fun, and it also allows you to come up with more ideas on how to play your character. So the fact that whenever I was casting like a shadow spell, it was always kind of a cursed spell, so he always kind of hesitated, and the way that it cast was always different. So with the right hand, whenever he casts fire, the fire would always come out from his palm and just fire, like a regular kind of spell, the same way you would see with the wizard or anything else. The blackness, though, it always kind of came out from underneath his glove. It came out in like tendrils and then formed something to fire. Like, it was designed to look like it was cursed and sickening. So always think about those things, in my opinion. If you have if your like DM allows you the opportunity to like describe the way your spells are cast and let you flavor your character stuff a little bit, take that opportunity because it helps with your own character building. But going back, that was our initial kind of overarching start to the campaign, which was Balin's curse and finding a way to control it. Did I summarize that well, Corinth?
Quite well, yes.
So now, story of Hadlin time.
Indeed.
All right, so story of Hadlin time. So I like Finn's character. Hadlin is not originally from Wildemount, but most of his life he's lived there. He was actually born in Marquette, and he was born to his mother Tierda Brightaxe, and his mother had a prophetic vision, and so did his grandmother that kind of shaped Hadlin's early life. He We hailed from Dressar, a connection from we came over to Wildemount on an airship at the beginning part of my life, and that's where I got to Zadash and became a member of the Cobalt Soul. That at the Cobalt Soul, my like graduation ticket / prize, however you want to say it, was a book of runes that the monks were extremely frustrated for a long time and had not been able to decipher. Hadlin had felt kind of a calling to them and had seen like the inklings of what he thought was something that was special with the book, and so that was his became kind of like his dwarven life goal, was to figure out what was going on with the book and to find his lost dwarven city that his grandmother Hala told him about. I actually knew Reed from Hupperduke and early travels before, after kind of like doing travels on the Cobalt Soul. Elione is my mentor that would have been kind of like almost a prelude to the game, even though she didn't join till a little bit later. Hadlin knew her early in his backstory. And then so yeah, that's kind of how Hadlin's story started, I would say. And then so we eventually started to get some inklings of what the book was, and it led us to a lost dwarven city in the Flotket Alps and the Graying Wildlands, and that became Kekheim. And yay!
Yay!
But one of the things that Finn was referring to early in the story was that
the legend of Hadlin is different than the story.
Yes. So we were. I believe the way it worked was I of course frequently roll very badly on initiative. So Hadlin is one of the very last people to go. So everybody of course went first to go run into a blacksmith shop where there was something going on, and so everybody got kind of like stuffed up against the door, and I knew there was absolutely no way that I was getting through it. And so I just said, well, that would be really cool if I could just dwarf through this wall right here. And so I just asked Ranger if I could do it. And he said, he laughed. I remember him like jokingly laughing at me once. He's like, you got to get really high to do it, but you go for it. And I rolled like a 20 something. It was like a 20, pretty good.
It was 20 even. Yeah, your total was a 20 even. It was awesome.
But yeah, that was the first thing, and my catchphrase as I ran through the wall was who wants an axe?
Who wants an axe?
Who wants an axe?
And that became the legend of Hadlin, and it only grew last session. That's all I can say. It really was meant to be. The fact that you rolled that, there's nothing else I can say except it was meant to be. It was, yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, it was so cool. I've watched portions of that session already, probably like 5 or 6 times or more at least. So yeah, everybody's reaction, and then how you described how what it's like for to watch Hadolin in the session, because I smacked my own ass, give myself inspiration. Then I challenged Drom just to get him to try and stand down, and I hasted myself. Yeah, and then I ran through a wall of boulders.
It
I
was
mean,
awesome.
it was definitely a showcase of Hadlin in combat. Not gonna lie. That one combat basically summarized Hadlin in combat. And then ouchie, sorry, Ellie. That's why you married that.
Not past tense. It hasn't happened yet.
Yes. That's why you're
We have
going to
this
marry that
guy
man.
running our game that keeps giving us other things to do.
Hey, the guy running your game allows you guys to go wherever. The fact that the fact that your group decided to follow Balin to Vasselheim when he was told by the Raven Queen that he needed just to go alone, and because of the shopping trip, that's not this guy's fault.
Yeah.
This guy only allows you guys to make the decisions you want to make. He doesn't stop you.
I'm not sure if that's
I'm starting to
entirely
think
accurate.
that Balin should have known better. That as soon as he said I have to go to Vasselheim, he should have known poor decisions would want to go shopping there.
I mean,
Or at least go with him even without the shopping part.
it's possible, but the Raven Queen hasn't sent him on a suicide mission, so send him on difficult missions.
And I'm still debating on that. How could Balin have soloed that room of all those dudes? They all like cast cloud kill, this, that, blah 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 blah.
Because you're missing one major part of it.
They wouldn't
will
have tried
not
to kill him.
Yes.
But still, they could have.
But they would have tried to do something else.
Yeah, they could have controlled him or charmed him or something stupid like that.
Except you realize how he has not been affected by the same stuff that you guys have.
Right, but I'm sure there was a nefarious reason. I mean, I'm sure they had something.
He's cursed.
Right. They
Balin's
probably would
curse
want
is
to
actually
massage
protecting
that curse and like turn him evil maybe or something.
Mm.
We don't need that. We don't need that.
Well, you guys still have more to come, so you'll.
See, look, he's making that Finn smiley face with his own face.
I mean, it's not wrong. It's not wrong. Hello, Durgan.
Very good.
Oh my god.
Wow, he just showed up and he's just going right for it.
He's ready. He's all over Vasselheim and Kegelheim and everything.
But he missed Cakeheim. You missed Cakeheim, Durgan.
You did miss Cakeheim. But yeah, so that was the way that the campaign started. And the group had a few different missions. And ultimately, we ended up together. The name Poor Decisions, I still don't remember the exact origination. It came up, I think, before the tournament, right? In the arena. I think you had to give yourself a name, and Poor Decisions just ended up as the name.
Yep.
And that kind of just stuck with them. It's appropriate, though, in many ways.
I think it finally got, like, shoehorned in when we found the golden kegs at Kegheim.
Mm-hmm.
When Drom took a swig and started eating rocks off the floor.
No, you guys were getting drunk even before that, but yes. The name of Poor Decisions
it fits really well. I like it. Yeah.
It does. And it's not spelled P-O-O-R, it's P-O-U-R.
Yes. So if you don't know that from the way we say it, the name is Poor Decisions, P-O-U-R Decisions. So it's actually pretty, I think it's a perfect name. But the group had done many different things up until this point. And ultimately it came down to now they are, they have freed Kegheim, which is good. They have gone into the magical area of Aor and tried to, get some more magic for the dwarf city. They have also now just killed the effectively the right hand man to Ukatoa, which was impressive. Killing Selvoria was definitely an impressive fight. Um, but there are some other things going on too. So there were some members of the party that are no longer there, and it's unclear where some of them are. One of the members they recently fought, they learned had turned into a succubus, which was Critty. Critty was the daughter of the leader of the Myriad, and she was taken by demons into Avernus, which is where Balin had gone. And there was a concerted effort by Tiamat, who had temporarily, weirdly, allied with Asmodeus, where the demons and devils had a pact of some kind, which was very dangerous if that was to actually last, because the fact that they fight each other has what helped the rest of the kind of mortal realm. But they worked together to help Critty unlock her power. But the group managed to kill Critty, which is good. They stopped that evil, as Tiamat was going to use it. But Tiamat also being kind of the evil person that, or dragon that she is, kind of backstabbed Asmodeus. So the devils were fighting the demons once again in chaos, which unfortunately hurt Blint. And Blint was the group's basically original cook, if you guys haven't seen it. The group, along with Blint, had created many a culinary treat in Wildemount. Spicy sausages, pizza, sandwiches, all these things they have created through the help of Blint. And
Yeah,
so,
now he has a franchise spread across the land.
Mm-hmm. It's true. The name of Blint and culinary cuisine has spread. So that is kind of how the campaign originally started, where we got to. So now the group is currently fighting different. Well, they have a lot of different fronts that they can potentially fight on. They have other activities like the marriage of Hadlin and Ellie, that at some point may or may not happen, depending on what the hell is going to actually be chosen to do here. There's a bachelor party, a potential bachelorette party. There's all kinds of things that can go on prior to the combat that is going on. But we can also get another story here. Grim, you want to give kind of an intro into how Duram got to where we are?
Oh, good lord.
Mm-hmm.
His story's like blossomed over the sessions. It really has when you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Originally, he started out as being one of the like only full-blooded orcs in the Raven Queen service. His entire family was killed, which he found out wasn't really true here recently. But good lord, he's gone from being just the party's cleric to something completely different now. Too much to explain, really. It is,
Mm-hmm.
Finn. Like, he's gone from like
That's what we're trying to do, though. We're trying to
He-
summarize so
he-
if people haven't watched
he
previously, they can catch up.
his mother was a shaman, and he inherited some of her powers, and some of the powers weren't exactly in line with the Raven Queen. On one occasion, when he got mind controlled, he ended up summoning an army of undead to fight the party.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a thing. Ended up reuniting with his mom, finding out more about himself, finding out he had a sister who is
Which still hasn't really been figured out.
Drum's still like, oh, how?
Say what?
Like, Yeah, in Drom's mind, it's like all I trying to figure out because you don't look like mom, you don't look like dad, but then again, did mom have a herring gone boyfriend?
By the way, the
Hmm.
sister of Drom is Hyluck, which is DPK's character,
Yeah.
Who's a bunny rabbit?
who's a rabbit.
Yep.
Now, there is potentially a very simple explanation for this, but nobody, every time the conversation has been even slightly broached, um, the hair doesn't say anything. Or
Yeah, it's like,
something happens that
okay.
interrupts it. It's funny.
Yeah, like Drom's sitting there ready for an answer, and it's like, okay, let's go over here.
Oh, look, something shiny.
It is. It's actually really
Exactly.
funny because this could have been resolved so long ago, but the hair doesn't want to talk about it,
Yeah.
and sometimes even when the hair is getting close to talking about it, something else comes up. Like, oh my god, there's something happening with the forge. We need to go, and they just leave the inn and leave the conversation.
Exactly.
Or
So
my
Drom's sitting
favorite.
there going,
Yeah, or my favorite is like everyone is sitting there. It's like, oh my god, Arika's coming, and then everyone freaks out.
We gotta go. Gotta go.
Time to go. Time to go. Okay, we're done.
run away, run away.
I hear my spirit mom calling for me in the other room. I gotta
Except
go.
Reed. Except Reed. He said he was going to ask her out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Chelsea.
Yep. So Hadlin, Reed will be the right hand of the king, and Arika will be the left hand of the king.
No. No, she won't.
I
if it
will be
gets-
the next Skywalker. Chop off my hand.
Ellie gets to be
Well-
controller of the hands.
As long as it gets Erica off of Drom's back and out of Ellie's hair,
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing a win-win here.
But yes, it makes for exactly, Durgan. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Reed is not here to answer that question. All right. So yeah, so that's kind of the complicated past of Drom. Yeah, there is a lot that has happened with Drom from a character perspective. So yeah, and then going back a little bit, the party had a few others that have since kind of gone. So originally, one of the party members for this group, prior to the calling of them of poor decisions, was Alanath. Alanath was an elf ranger. She decided that it was after traveling kind of in Hupperduke and doing like city life, it wasn't for her. So Alanath has gone into the wild a little bit and trying to just reconnect with nature. Two of the other party members are Shira, who we talked about, and then Togar, who was a dragonborn bard. They have since disappeared. I think when you guys tried to scry, I believe for Togar, it was just a blinding white light, if I recall. And then
Yeah.
with Ashira, it was
A
darkness.
big ass freaking spider.
Yep, it was spider and darkness. So it's unclear what is happening with either of them right now, but they haven't had any way of really figuring out where they are. So the group has a lot of potential different things they can do. So we'll see where they go. They've gone to Vasselheim right now, trying to help Balin with one of his things. And ultimately, we'll see what the party decides. That being said, the party also picked up some new members. So Drom mentioned that his family he thought was dead, but his mom was actually still alive. And his father was dead, but was kind of...
It's complicated.
Yeah, the father complicated. But the mom was alive. Unfortunately, no longer alive, but she was for a time being. And then, similarly, though, Reed thought his family had gone, but his sister actually did manage to survive with the help of a devil. That character is actually played by Ladypool. So Ladypool plays River Tealeaf, which is Reed's twin sister, that was thought to have died in a attack on Reed's farm, which is another side plot altogether, where the Jagannath family, who killed Reed's family, now has one surviving member, Iene Jagannath, who had sent out mercenaries to try and kill Hadlin and Reed. They got within one chamber to get the information on where Iene Jagannath were, and the whole group was like, F it, he can come to us, and left. It was really
I didn't want to do any puzzles.
I know. That reaction made me, I'm not gonna lie, I was not expecting it, and it made me happy. I can't explain it. The fact that you all were just like, F it, he can come to us, and you just left this pirate island after all of this. There was a whole session of hide the weasel, and somehow Reed and River getting to the top of a tower on a mountain, you guys talking to the Plank King. Ultimately, it was just like
signing a blood contract, right? Some sort of crazy, if you break it, you're cursed kind of contract Hadlin signed.
Mm-hmm. Well, basically, you're trying to help the Dark Toe with the Dwendalian Empire to at least set up like some kind of trade.
Yeah, there's like all these things that we were gonna do for them, and like, oh, we'll give you, you can go in our waters, and we'll help you out with some of these things, and
they were gonna be your crew at a cost, but they were going to do your water missions.
Oh yeah, and we'll tell you where the location of this island is. Psych. No, we're not.
They didn't say psych. You were just.
They can go down this corridor here and do some frickin' puzzles and figure it out yourself.
Yep. And they're like,
that's
nope.
That's why we said nope.
Yep. They're like, puzzle. Nope.
Hey,
because we were like catfished.
As long as we help them, like Finn said, as long as we help them with the relations between the.
And you already did.
Yeah, and we're fine. Like, we've already upheld our part of the bargain, essentially. It's in Hadlin's eyes, at least. So.
Yeah. You guys haven't had any
anything
backlash yet, so yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it's only been like a week, hasn't it?
No, a little longer than that.
In game?
No, it has been about a week. You guys hurried back, then you guys had everything happen with the tree. Balin came back, then he had to go there. So yeah, it's been just about a week. You guys have been teleporting everywhere between a couple of days.
That's true. We have been teleporting everywhere.
Yeah, it's actually been a little less than a week that you guys are doing there. Poor Brett is still on his way trying to come back for Ellie.
He's fine. Okay?
He's on the ship. He's like one of those people that's off to war, that's like just looking at the picture of his beloved back home in order to keep him going. Oh, you know what it is? Now I know what I'm picturing. I'm picturing Brett as like that Wolverine meme holding that picture of Ellie.
Yeah, exactly.
My God.
Brett doesn't know that Ellie got engaged. So
Nope, he does not.
That happened after, right? That did happen.
Hadlin needs a Cyclops helmet now.
Did that happen after? No, I'm.
Yeah, that happened after because you left and then you died.
Right.
You guys just got back and then you ended up going to Avernus. And that's where you died.
See, that's
and then
one
you came back, and that's when it happened. Yeah, that was I am picturing that Wolverine meme now. Okay, so let's get a backstory for Ellie. So as I was mentioning, we had some other people join the campaign as well. So Ladypool plays River, Reed's twin sister. DPK plays Hyluck, who is Drom's sister as well. And then we have Ellie.
Oh my god.
What? How she's losing it. For
Sturgeon.
something. Oh, just
Sturgeon.
oh yeah. Yes, I saw that. I'm just not with. I'm just not with that. All right. Ouchie, you want to give a little?
They're trying to
backstory?
kill the family, Durgan. Whatever metaphor that makes it into, I don't know, but
You want to give a backstory of Ellie? How she got to this point, basically, starting as far back as you
how
can.
she got to this point.
Mm-hmm.
What point is she in right now?
In a layer of Vecna cultists.
Mistakes were made.
Yes. Describe all the mistakes that got you to this.
Yeah, I had
current
this.
state
There was
of-
this part in last session where Ellie did. She's a blade singer for anybody out there who doesn't know, and she was doing a steel wind strike on three enemies that were left. And the last one, she didn't roll high enough to hit it, but the damage had been really high. And I had this great line that I was going to say if I, did like a super, crit attack on one of them, which was going to be, I'm late for my dress appointment. But I didn't get to do it. So, yeah, I came in like around episode 30 or so
somewhere around there, yeah.
something like that. And some of the older people Finn mentioned were still in the game, and I was just kind of a fill-in. Honestly, I think I originally was going to try to play somebody that just helped heal because everybody was getting hurt, and the people there was something wrong. It didn't seem like there was enough healing or something. I don't remember exactly.
It was a newer group, right? We had a lot of people that were playing for the first time, which is fine. But when we need like them to heal, it becomes a little bit different. But
right,
we got everyone.
Drum can't do everybody, right?
Mhm.
Drum's only one guy. Maybe he can. We never asked him.
Yeah, Drum didn't take the monk class, so he can't do everybody.
Yeah. So
He's not
I
that
think
limber.
yeah. Maybe he's just out of practice. Anyway, I got distracted.
That's why he has
originally
to turn
that's
into
what I was
Heroes
going to do.
Feast.
Somehow that changed, though. I don't know where that happened, and I ended up playing this cool chick who was basically kind of like an academic at the Cobalt Soul, kind of like a professor. She taught Hadalin his first cantrip. We kind of decided. So there was some, she's like, if you've ever been in a university, she's basically like that. She has assistants that she treats like crap. She speaks bad about them to their faces. And, just silly things like that. She also imbibes on herbal refreshment a lot. And
slept through a whole combat because of it.
Right. At least two,
At least
maybe.
Two, yeah.
Yeah. She also is apparently a princess, and she doesn't really like talking about that. She wasn't really hip to the whole stuffy royalty vibe. Her parents are, this very prestigious high elf. Her mom is like a really super powerful wizard, and her dad is, skilled with a sword, and so she kind of like took them both and was like, she kind of like did the path that was expected of her to learn some magic, but then also started swinging a sword around. Literal high elves. Yes, that's the idea, Durgan. I didn't come up with that idea. There's there's plenty of other people that got that reference. I just kind of took it and ran with it. So when the group came back to Zadash and went to the Cobalt Soul because they needed some information, I can't remember what exactly it was, and I was there, and I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna go on sabbatical and go hang out with these cool kids. She might have, during the time when Hadalin was there, sort of had a little bit of a preference for him over some of the other students. Maybe it got her in trouble. We don't know. But, after he left, she was probably kind of bummed. And then when they came back, she was like, "Oh, sweet, I'm getting the heck out of here. And I'm going to go hang with my boy." And that's what she did.
And now she's getting married soon.
Again, maybe. What happened, for those that don't know, we went to Avernus to fight Critty, and in that battle, she power word killed me. And there's no saving from that. You just die if you're under 100 hit points, which I was. So I bit the dust, and I should just put my phone away. I should not look at the chat. I don't know. Probably. Anyway, I died, and that was bad. And they maybe just after the fight and they won, they like. That's a good question, Kidiona. It's not a bad thing though, because it gave us some really cool a really cool RP moment. So not complaining. They kind of, do this thing in the game where when you're trying to, bring someone back from death, you get some people around that they know really well, and, you ask them and persuade them to come back.
Honestly, up until Hadlin, that was not. It was iffy. I'm not gonna lie. The attempts to bring back Ellie prior to Hadlin were kind of
we have to
sketch.
Yeah, we had to convince the person to come back from the endless sea of pudding.
And the big bong in the sky. And Ranger wasn't there, who plays Leo, and he might have been, I don't know if he would have been persuasive or not, but Reed had a little thing, and then Drom did a little thing, and then Hadalin was like, throw down the trump card, and in his persuasion asked her to join him and get hitched, become Queen of Kegheim. And Helly was like, "Hey, that sounds pretty sweet, so okay." So she came back, and since then it's just been like, okay, so when are we doing it? Because I've been waiting. And that's it.
Yep. And now the group has been doing several other things except for wedding planning. Although I think some of them are planning it on the side, like in between. It's like fire at monster and then make note on something about the wedding.
Like we did have a plan. Ellie suggested some sort of like ancient elven ritual of having a nude wedding. Some people were not a fan of that idea.
A particular ranger.
Reed even found reference to it in a book, so it wasn't like I was just making it up.
So yes, there is some planning for a wedding going on. There's just.
Well, I don't know about that, but I don't really want to make anyone envious.
Right. I think there was some concern with the halflings because they're so short. If everyone else that's standard height are all naked, there's parts that are right at eye level with them.
That was definitely a concern.
They have concern about. And then Ranger didn't want Leo to be naked, which is weird because doesn't Ranger always describe Leo as like the Fabio of
Well, because he's on the front of the ship. He's on
No, but before that he used to say that. So
that's been Ranger's line. In fact, I just recently learned that Leo is dark-haired and not blonde because I always thought of him as like a Fabio-looking elf.
Did you guys think that Leo was blonde?
I knew he was dark-haired only because of his
I thought he was blonde.
Yeah, I could have sworn he was blonde.
His token is dark. Well, yes, that much I agree. The way he plays the character, I would have assumed.
I think Leo might have to dye his hair. It might
we're gonna have to check.
King proclamation here.
Leo might need to be a blonde. Already dyes his hair. Maybe he is naturally blonde, but he just dyes it black.
So
Buck up, Legolas. You're becoming a blonde.
Oh my god. So that hopefully kind of catches everyone up on the campaign. So the group has gone through a few different iterations, but currently they're working on a few different potential battlegrounds of sorts. The major battlegrounds, one, they're trying to find a way to stop Loth, who's kind of masterminding, it seems, a lot of this chaos. Tiamat is still doing some things in Avernus. They have seemed to put a stop, for the most part, to Uk'otoa at the moment. So the god fights are three of the battlefronts that they have going on. Another one is they have a secret door in Kegheim that they haven't been able to open, that is very magically sealed at the moment, with great potential risk if failed to open. And so they haven't
failed to open? There's a risk if we don't open it?
No, well,
I thought there was a risk
if you fail in attempting to open. Meaning if you don't, disarm it correctly or stuff like that.
We had that genie.
You did,
we sold it.
Mm-hmm. We had little chance of getting him to actually do anything helpful.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
But I believe I have found a solution to the wall, at least a foreshadowing solution to the door in the wall. I'm supposed to run through it. So I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm pretty sure I just need to train by some smaller, slower ones first, and maybe Leone, you can just start casting spells on walls, and I'll start running through walls with spells.
That's their foreplay. Ellie creates a wall and Alan runs through it.
Oh my god.
Makes sense.
Gets me going.
Everyone in Kegheim is just sitting there, and then all of a sudden from outside you just hear like a wall breaking down. Oh, they're at it again. Okay.
Oh yeah. Oh no.
Yeah, so that's another battlefront. Currently the Dwendalian Empire and the Kryn, who is the other major faction in Wildemount, are currently fighting over magic that they can find in Aor and some other places in the north. So that's another battlefield. Of course, there are different things going on in people's storylines. So I'm not answering that question, Durgan. So
I like Kitty Yoda's suggestion, though. Have we tried knocking on that door?
Nobody has wanted to touch the door.
Touch the door, yeah. In fact, I think we kept some people from trying to do that.
Yeah. Reed investigated the door, found that it was extremely trapped, and it failed. He, as someone that can't even roll below a 1 on trying to disarm it, does not want to touch it because it failed. Lots of bad things will happen. So, yeah. Damn it, Durkin. Yeah. So they have that battlefield going on. Then each of their character backstories also has something going on, whether they're aware of it or not. All the character backstories have something.
I don't like that either. What do you mean?
I mean,
explain yourself.
Well, you all know there's something going on with each of your backstories in some way, shape, or form. So Ellie, you have your mom's book, right? That's still kind of something you're working through. Hadlin is trying to build Kegheim. There's also the stuff.
This is my story, as the DM said. So
yeah. It has become, as of last session, this whole story has become nothing but the legend of Hadlin. It just is. Reed is the notator of titles.
Then we tell the Raven Queen that and say, listen, Balin just needs to come with us now. His story doesn't matter anymore.
Well, Balin's story wasn't supposed to matter. He was just supposed to go off, but the group followed him.
And see, Balin, the legend of Hadlin wouldn't have grew had we not followed you here.
I mean, this is true. This is true.
It's a good point.
Mm-hmm. This is
so
true.
in
It was
the
also
end,
probably
it's
the
all
ice
your
cream.
fault.
I wonder if it was the ice cream that helped too.
Nope,
That was really good ice cream.
It also helped that Drom caved in the way that you needed to go.
It was so foreshadowing. As soon as I saw that staircase and the boulders went down, I think I messaged a couple people. I'm like, we're gonna have to go through that staircase. I
Oh,
know
of
we are.
course.
Yeah. I mean,
Why do you think I collapsed it?
Yeah,
Because
I know.
it's like, oh, we wouldn't have to go through there if I didn't.
I think I was one of the only people that was like, yeah, do it, Grim. Earthquake it. Everybody was like, no, no, it might
Yeah,
all
the
come
rest of
down
us
on
were.
us.
We wanted Drom to just put Spirit Guardians on and run around there like a chainsaw, like with feet.
But you do have to admit that the earthquake was pretty badass.
Yes, it was. It was
Mhm.
very interesting. That's for sure.
I dug it. Not actually digging.
I know. That's what Hadlin does. He just bursts through it. So yeah, so all these different battlefields are going on, and the group have their backstory stuff that they're dealing with as well. And so currently, the group is, I don't know, somewhere in the process of Balin's story here, of going back to fight the cult that kind of indoctrinated him in a way. The only one that's really familiar with what's happening here, I think, is Drom, as one of the trials that they did earlier to unlock the power of the forge and the tree in Kegheim with the runes. So Drom, I think, is pretty familiar with everything going on, but the others are not quite understanding it, I think, to the same level as Drom is. So, but that's how we get to where we currently are with the campaign. So hopefully that helped, at least for those that haven't kept up with everything. I know we're heading into episode 89 next week, so we're getting there.
We're getting there.
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
We're getting
Yes.
close to triple digits, which is pretty fun.
Nearly there, nearly there.
Mm-hmm. So, all right. So I think that answers basically most of the questions. So now is now a
Does
good
anyone
time
else have any
to-
questions? Anyone else? Besides,
I mean, you can answer Jurgen's question.
you're almost a third of the way through Finn's story.
Actually, I am sad to say that they are getting closer to kind of the end of the storyline. There's still a lot left, but they are getting closer to the end of the storyline here with this particular one. Now, there may be more that I can add, but this particular story arc, the long one, with the overarching thing with all the gods and everything, you guys are getting closer. So
You just named like three gods to fight and another thing to do. How are we any close to doing that?
yeah, you'll be
It
surprised.
take forever.
No, it's gonna probably take a while in terms of our like actual number of sessions, but in game, you guys are getting much closer. That's what I'm saying. Things happen much
Well, that
quicker
just
in game
happens
than
with
they
time.
do. Yeah.
Oh,
It tends to always go forward unless you're Time Lord.
All right. So, should I watch it now?
yes.
Okay.
Oh, let
Yeah.
me pull up the stream here.
Okay. So, as a note here, and Drom, you'll be able to hear it. I'm gonna leave the audio coming through my side, just because I think Ellie and Hadlin want to see
you
my
probably maybe
reaction.
just. Yeah, I don't know how that's gonna work.
Okay, I can not have it come
Unless you
through.
can
That's
share
fine.
the screen in Zoom.
Yeah,
That's
I can.
okay. I can watch it on stream.
Yeah, but you'll be behind.
I can. Give me 1 second here. Let me do this.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So if I do that. Okay. Do you
That
see
would
the
be
stream
better.
layout?
Yes.
It'll be my camera. So it'll be above me in that black
Okay.
box. That's where the video will play.
Oh, well, it'll be small then.
Well, if
I
you
can see it.
if you pin my camera on your side,
Oh, well, let's pin Finn.
yeah, pin Finn.
Pin, and then maximize.
Okay. Enhance.
All right.
Enhance.
Hmm.
Enhance.
All right. So,
Oh, wait, can I preface?
okay. Yeah.
This is a project that started just out of basically nothing. It was just me and Corinth joking around about something, and he was working with AI voices, and he did this one voice, and it sounded a lot like the honest trailers, the really funny honest trailers on YouTube.
You
The
know
the
more.
Exactly. It sounded like that guy, and I was like, "Holy crap, that sounds like the honest trailers guy." And then, like it snowballed from there. So Corinth ended up doing this whole voiceover with it, and I, made a video to go with it.
Okay. So here we go. It's the premiere of the Corinth and Ouchie video of Kegheim, which has me scared. Okay, here we go.
In a world where mountains echo and forges burn eternal, get ready for the most uproarious, slightly inappropriate journey beneath the earth. From the depths of Kegheim, where ale flows as freely as the rivers of molten gold, comes a tale so bold, so brazen, it could only be whispered across the drunken stupors of dwarven taverns. Introducing Kegheim, the Untold Misadventures.
I like the title.
Picture this, an ancient kingdom, hidden by stone and shrouded in mystery, where every dwarf is a warrior or a blacksmith, or both, because multitasking is a trait as common as a love for stone-carved insults. But hark, danger stirs beneath the cavernous halls. It's not just the usual, like a misplaced hammer on your foot, but a true, dark, and possibly very smelly evil scene. King Hadalin runs through walls. Watch as King Hadalin, whose beard is insured for more than the city vault, the fearless dwarven leader with a penchant for destruction, literally smashes through expectations and walls on his quest to reclaim his lost kingdom. Why use doors when you can make your own entrances? King Hadalin Brightaxe, a dwarf so tough, he uses diamonds as bath salt. Hadalin, destined to reclaim the legendary city of Kegheim, wields his sentient artifact, Brightaxe, who's sharper than a goblin's backstab and twice as witty. Together, they face the ultimate enemy, an ancient demon with a terrible taste in decor and an army of minions who haven't had a bath since the last rain in the Underdark. Cue the dramatic music as Hadalin and his band Poor Decisions, and a group of equally robust dwarves, and a token elf for diversity. Yes, she's got a thing for dwarves and will likely end up being queen. Journey through treacherous lands filled with monsters that look suspiciously like your Uncle Olaf. Traps that make your local tavern's puzzle mug look like child's play, and twists so unexpected they'd make a pretzel jealous. Cut to Elione sleeping on a pile of mystical herbs. And behold, Elione, future High Elven Queen of Kegheim, so stoned she's sleeping through the revolution. Armed with her moonblade, her magical herb, she dreams of peace, love, and inexplicably large quantities of cookie dough. Switch to Reed shopping in an assassin's market. Catch Reed, the hand of the king, shopping for magic items, and casually dispatching villains without even looking. Who knew picking out the perfect cloak could be so lethal? Flash to Dromzal charging into battle. Dromzal, the cleric who knows healing is overrated. Why mend wounds when you can charge headfirst into battle? Watch him forget his divine duties and join the front lines with a battle cry that scares even the undead. Scene, Leo trying and failing, dodging arrows. Leo, the flexing gloomstalker who's so proud of his biceps, he forgets to dodge. Witness as he narrowly escapes a deadly flurry of arrows, all while maintaining his perfectly sculpted hair. Cut to Halak at a peculiar marketplace. Meet Halak trying to say College of Eloquence, but ends up buying a fence. Yes, a literal fence for Kegheim, because sometimes even heroes have off days. Flash to River setting everything on fire. And don't forget River, who thought lighting everything on fire was a solid battle strategy. Spoiler, it wasn't, or was it? Who's counting when you're having fun? Scene, Dwayne disappearing. And where in the world is Dwayne? No, seriously, if anyone sees the court wizard, let us know. He's been missing since scene 2. Cut 2. Bylan with an evil artifact. Lastly, there's Bylan, touching every cursed artifact he can find and then acting all innocent. What artifact? I didn't touch any artifact. Yes, he's holding the Book of Vile Darkness. Put the book down, Meg. Watch as they delve into the depths of Kegon, facing challenges like deciphering ancient runes that are less speak friend and enter, and more speak loudly and maybe if you're lucky. Thrill as our heroes engage in battles so intense, the camera crew had to take a union-mandated ale break every 10 minutes. So strap on your sturdiest boots, comb out your beard, and prepare for a tale that's part comedy, part action, 99% dwarf, and join this band, Poor Decisions. Come on, you know why they have that name. Of unlikely heroes as they stumble, bumble, and smash their way through dark dungeons, mystical mayhem, and some seriously poor decisions. Kegheim, The Untold Misadventures, coming to a theater near you. Just make sure it's structurally sound. Hadalin has been there.
Listen to the crack sounds. The spinning hubcap sound. That's my favorite part of the whole thing.
You missed the screaming cat in there too.
That was
But
yeah. I
still,
should have done that.
That was
I could always
great.
add it, but
That
yeah.
was
That
awesome.
was great.
Very nicely
Oh.
done.
I'm gonna post it in our chat for people so they can download it.
That was amazing.
So awesome.
That was really awesome. And very accurate, fortunately.
So if you go to the beginning, all the pop-ups,
Yeah, let
I
me
had
see if
asked
can
in chat
Forge's birth.
for everybody to give me the inappropriate things, and I didn't get too many, but that's all right. I got enough. But I did them like Facebook, or not Facebook, but
Like
YouTube
Twitter.
comments
Oh yeah, YouTube. I see him.
or something.
So King
Yeah.
Hadlin, you're welcome to touch it. Elioni, King of Going #1. King Hadlin. Bright Axe hasn't gone off in a while though, Ellie. Bright
Just
Axe
from last
responding,
week,
I've got the big silvery barb for you. Bright Axe saying, hey babe, come back. My shaft is waiting for you. Oh god. Reed, we're playing Hide the Weasel. And then Reed, it certainly looks like the shrimp is getting to third base there. I mean, we have said a lot of dumb things. I'm sure if we had time, we would be able to find many, many more stupid things that we have said.
Actually did so good with some of the pictures,
Mhm.
and especially and because some of the lines, because obviously I use my ChatGPT AIs that I developed to come up with some of this stuff, but the lines that they used for the characters were so good.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
the College of Eloquence and By Offense, like
Mm-hmm.
that was
Mhm.
just perfect.
Mhm.
Because and especially for the backstory where DPK didn't really know how to say that for the first 4 or 5
Mhm.
episodes, so
Yes.
it's like perfect.
Mm-hmm.
That was great.
It was really funny that day when Corinth was messing around with the AI, and I said that. And first he did a short one, and it's one about Hadalin and Ellie. And that one was really funny. I did a short little video for that, and Corinth was like, "Okay, you got to make sure you're sitting down." And he sent me just the audio file, and I was sitting in my car getting gas, and I was just in tears because I couldn't stop laughing at it. It was so good. I said it needs a video.
Mm-hmm. And the
Surprise,
video was awesome.
The surprise, like shame, Balin turning around, like, "No, I'm not holding anything."
I didn't do
It's so
anything.
great.
No.
I didn't do anything.
The Balin guilty picture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
That was
Yep.
that was great.
That
My
was
favorite
I
was,
didn't
so,
touch
put
anything,
the book
but
down.
you're still holding it.
Put the book down.
That one was Corinth. There was no I involved in that. I just figured that would be funny. So.
It
I
was
liked
very
it.
funny.
It was great, dude.
It was
great.
perfect.
All right. So I think with that, we'll go ahead and call it for this chat session. I hope you guys got some kind of update on, how we got to the current campaign. If you guys haven't watched it up until now, at least hopefully you're more or less caught up. There's obviously a lot of detail if you go back and watch it, but as a general summary, that's how we got to the current part where we are fighting the cultists of Balin's past, and the group is definitely having some difficulties here. So
Put the YouTube link up for it if anyone wants to watch it.
yes. So so I think right now we are on track for next week. So if you guys are able to, please make sure you join us for that. And yeah, with that, we'll get some last words from everyone and then go ahead and sign out, starting with Havlin.
I'm the Untold Misadventures. Woohoo!
Drum.
They definitely were poor decisions.
Mm-hmm. Ellie.
There will be many more.
Poor decisions, but led to great things. And we just have such a great time. Won't you join us next week?
And then I'll end by saying, wait until you see all the things Balin touches next week. Okay, everyone have a great rest of your evening, and we'll see you next week. Take care, everyone.